Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hindu Explainer series. I am Kushagra Goel and good morning to all of you. Right? So yesterday I had put up a question for all of you that which is the article that discusses about president being the administrator or the one under which the union territories will be governed, and what is the article for administration of the Union Territory of Delhi. Alright, so Article 239 and 239 double A, right? So congratulations to all of those who took out the effort to find out the answer, and this resolves the doubt for all the viewers who had. What was their doubt? That how is this system different, alright? So in states, the appointment or the governance is governed by the governor, who has to act on the aid and advice of the chief minister and his council of ministers. All right. Regarding union territories, there is a law that the president governs them and he nominates a person who does it on his behalf, which is the lieutenant governor. All right. With Delhi, an exception was created and an assembly was brought in. All right. It is this article whose scope is now being amended with the new law that the Lok Sabha passed yesterday. So there is an editorial that discusses that too. So we will be covering once again extensively about that when I discuss the editorial. All right. Then other doubts that students had. So first one was about what is the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty. All right. So Non-Proliferation Treaty is a multilateral international instrument. All right. And it set a cutoff date. All right. That all those countries who had tested a weapon grade nuclear device prior to January 1, 1967. Only those countries can possess nuclear weapons, all right? However, this treaty then, so only 5 countries that are authorized as per NPT to have nuclear weapons: USA, earlier it was USSR, now it is Russia instead of USSR because USSR disintegrated, United Kingdom, France and China. Alright, so these are P5. These are also the 5 countries who are permanent members of the Security Council. Alright, however, there are other countries who have not signed the NPT. Alright, primarily among them is India. India tested its nuclear device way later than the date marked in the NPT. And Indian government, since the time period of Indira Gandhi, who was the Prime Minister when the NPT was being discussed internationally, had called it unfair, and that it was a mechanism to restrict the power circle for only specific countries. All right. Since then, all the governments of whatever party, whosoever has been the Prime Minister, has held that to be the case. All right. And Atal Bihari Vajpayee went on and conducted the second nuclear test device at Pokhran. All right. So India is one of the countries who have not signed the NPT. So NPT becomes important in that regard, that why is Iran being stopped from testing a nuclear device is because it is a signatory to the NPT. Alright. So that was first doubt. Then another doubt that students had was related to what kind of questions can be asked related to the wars and what is the history regarding the Arab Spring, which has led to the wars that are happening. So most of the countries that you see in the Middle East, the Gulf Cooperation Council members, the 6 member countries and all the other countries in that region do not have a proper democracy as we know them, right? Where in the people can hold the government accountable and the power keeps on changing. Most of those states are sheikhs or dictators, right? So that region, and therefore the Arab Spring was a movement for democracy, for pro-democracy governments in the Middle Eastern region, all right? And that was suppressed brutally. Because peaceful protest was suppressed, violence or people took arms against the regime for a change, and that has led to the wars that is still ongoing in Syria. So what kind of questions can be asked? Questions regarding what is the latest development, if there has been an agreement, for example the Doha agreement between Taliban and USA, all right, or Abraham Accords that have been there, which we have discussed. So any such agreement, for example, the ceasefire agreement at Nagorno-Karabakh, right? Armenia, Azerbaijan. So these conflicts, who signed them, the date, or what is the relevance, what is the region that they cover, who is fighting whom, what is the benefit, what is India's stakeholder, all those things that we discuss when we do the in-depth analysis or every time a news springs up. And I'm sure all those who have been watching the series consistently can definitely answer the questions regarding these conflicts, all right? The conflict in Yemen, the conflict in Syria, the conflict in Israel, the conflict in Afghanistan, all these things we have been continuously discussing, continuously talking about who is favoring whom, what is the benefit of this, all right? So that is the other doubt. Now, we move on to today's newspaper. There is one in-depth analysis regarding an award that I am doing. Another award that is there for which I am not doing an in-depth analysis is because the details about that award is basically given in the article itself. So I have highlighted them there itself. And on the point of highlight, on March 19, because of the Hindus problem, we couldn't put up highlighted portions for you all right? So I'd promised we'll do a mute rundown, but as some other students have demanded, what we are going to do, rather than have a video wherein we are scrolling through, and the problem with that is that some may feel that they were not able to, then they will have to pause. For that particular day, we'll put up the highlighted portion on the Google Drive, all right? So you all can access the important articles which are to be read or highlighted in the newspaper for that day, and you can refer to the in-depth analysis that we did on that particular day to cross-refer the information, all right? So on that note, we begin with today's newspaper. So on March 23, the government has come up with a guideline now, something that for a month on experts had been asking it to do. That is delay the gap of first and the second dosage for Covishield. United Kingdom was the first country to do it, giving the first dose and the second dose from 8 to 12 weeks. Now the Indian government has stated from its earlier position of giving the second dose after 4 weeks, now the timeline is that the vaccine is more effective from 6 to 8 week gap. So all those who have been administered the Covishield vaccine, the second dose will now happen from 6 to 8 week time period, all right? So that is the main update. Covishield remains the most administered vaccine of India. Then on the left hand side, the national awards for film were awarded yesterday. The government, this is by the ministry, it is the awards that the government conducts, all right? So primary things among them was best actor was awarded to two persons jointly, Dhanush and Manoj Bajpayee. The best feature film was Marakar Arabikan Dalininte Simham, and the best actress was awarded to Kangana Ranaut, the best supporting actress to Pallavi Joshi, the best supporting actor male was granted to Vijay Sethupathi, the best direction to Sanjay Puran and Singh Chauhan, and the best cinematography to Giresh Gandhagaran, all right? Best lyrics to Prabha Verma, and best music direction to Prabhu Mundu Banerjee, all right? So these, because this is government award and is the one, so other awards that happen in India, all right, they are based by any one private organization sponsored by some other industrial houses. The others are from another competing channel. The National Film Awards are considered to be the main because they are not by any vested government but by the state itself, all right? So they are the one that you need to keep in mind. The categories of all of this is given in the details of what film for they awarded that, all right? So the 67 National Film Awards announced yesterday in New Delhi by the government. Make sure you are making notes about this from the newspaper today, all right? The further details about other categories are on page 8, all right? We'll come to that also. Make sure you have your details from here, all right? Then on the front page, another development took place regarding a project, all right, which is the UP and the Madhya Pradesh government agreed to sign a deal for a Ken-Betwa river linking project, all right? So on the further, we'll be discussing this in a further depth. Then apart from that, amid process, Lok Sabha passed the GNCTD amendment bill, the one that we started the discussion with. We will be talking about it from the editorial perspective too, alright. So moving on the other national news, nothing of real note, alright. Politics aside, assembly poll, campaigning, all of that not relevant, alright. So today is also March 23, marks the Shaheed Divas or the Martyrs Day, alright. You can see the advertisement here by the Delhi Chief Minister. This is the day that marks the hanging of Bhagat Singh and of the other revolutionaries that were awarded Kalapani at Andaman and Nicobar Island and then given death penalty, alright. But the distinction of Indian revolutionaries vis-a-vis the ones who have protested in Middle East, alright, was that Bhagat Singh and others, when they gave their writings, was that the purpose of their initiation of violence was not to actually lead an armed rebellion against the British state, but to make their voices heard. That you need to make a loud sound to make the deaf hear, is what was his statement when they did the bombing in the assembly, alright. And their purpose was only to make the government take note and then move towards a peaceful transition, alright, a peaceful struggle, and that was in the original writings of Bhagat Singh too. So the day becomes really important from the perspective of day and date, alright. So make sure you are making a note of that. Then moving on to the editorial front. So before we address the others one, free and open, Austin's visit is significant for bilateral ties and cooperation on Indo-Pacific and Afghanistan. This is about Lloyd Austin's visit to India. Why was it relevant? It was relevant to signify to India that India is on the same pedestal as Japan and South Korea and other important allies of USA for the Biden administration. The second posturing is about what is the center stage of India and US ties. It is the Indo-Pacific region and the Afghanistan conversation, the peace process there. Donald Trump's administration had kept India out of it. Joe Biden's administration has done a change and has involved India as a stakeholder for peace in the region, alright. So that is a change that the policy has been brought in, right. So while Mr. Austin made it clear the Biden administration is committed to CASTA sanctions against all countries procuring high-value military hardware, he said the determination on India would only come after New Delhi takes delivery of S-400 missile system. That is, the US is committed to CASTA, However, the sanctions will not be implemented right now. The decision whether to implement them or not, this is one bone of contention between US and India, alright, and that issue will only be discussed by the Biden administration once India takes the missile systems delivery. So till now, nothing of that point. This shows that the Biden administration does not want to look for sticking points in the relationship of India and USA, but rather look at things where they can engage and have a resolution for the countries, alright. The second editorial, the way forward, Myanmar junta should heed to the people and respect the election results. This makes the case that why Myanmar's military generals should give up the power, give it back to the democracy and the election results, release the political prisoners, stop the military crackdown, because a violent, broken country is something that no one deserves and the humanity will be better off without it, alright, which is what the editorial makes the case for, alright. Then the second one on the front page editorial, getting it right on the LAC disengagement, alright, that this is India and China are still ongoing with their disengagement conversation. Disengagement has only taken place at the Pangong Tso Lake. We had already done a detailed discussion about that, and there are still sticking points. And this editorial makes the case that Indian government has done a good job regarding how the conversation has went on till now, and hopefully sooner or later this will be resolved further. That disengagement will be complete soon, alright. Then we turn to the main editorial. The main editorial is the government of NCT bill will reduce the elected government to a mere vestigial organ, alright. So 2-3 things that need to be understood from the editorial. The editorial lists the journey of Delhi how it has been administered since the beginning. All right. So earlier, when India got independence, after that, Delhi was meant to have a system wherein there will be the union government will be the one, and along with that there will be a state legislature body too. However, after the State Reorganization Act was passed in 1956, Delhi went on to be a union territory without a elected government. Then the main change came in the 69th Amendment Act, which of 1991. All right, it was through this that the current Legislative Assembly of Delhi was created. All right, so this is a constitutional fact that you need to be aware of. And then this another thing as to why the 69th Amendment was brought in was on basis of the Balakrishnan Committee's report of 1987. So two constitutional facts, the 69th Amendment Act, and on what recommendation, committee's recommendation was it brought in. All right. Then apart from that, the main highlight from the Supreme Court judgment of 2018 and 19. We discussed them in in-depth analysis. The editorial reproduces the entire passage here for us, which I have highlighted on the screen. So I'll be reading snippets from it, not the entire paragraph for you all. That the said provision tends to provide for capital as directly elected legislative assembly, which shall have legislative powers over matters falling within state and concurrent list. All right, barring the accepted, all right, which is under the mandate of lieutenant governor. All right, so what this means is that this created a structure wherein, just like how other state governments were given the power, the government, the Legislative Assembly of Delhi, had power to make laws on state and concurrent list. All right, and the constitution has a mandated federal balance wherein the independence of certain required disagree is assured to the state government. As opposed to the centralism, a balanced federal structure mandates that union does not usurp all powers and states enjoy freedom without any unsolicited interference from the central government. How does this change? This balance, what the Supreme Court confirmed that needs to be there, that India being a federal country and not a central one, states enjoy that degree. This will change. Why? Because the expression government is now referred to any law made by the Legislative Assembly shall mean the lieutenant governor. All right, and before taking any executive action in pursuance of decision of Council of Minister to exercise law in force of the capital, the opinion of the lieutenant governor shall be obtained on all such matters as may be specified by the general order of the lieutenant governor. So till now, it was advised, the lieutenant governor used to act on the advice of the chief minister who is elected, but the lieutenant governor is not elected. He is appointed by the Supreme Court, the central government. All right, and now if you want to hold the government or who is taking decisions in Delhi accountable, the entire country needs to vote against the government of center to make a change as to who will govern Delhi. So basically, the people of Delhi do not have any voice regarding how they can hold those accountable for who will be taking decisions. All right, so that is what this change will bring in if it is passed by the Rajya Sabha too. All right, so moving on to the op-ed. All right, the op-ed on the left hand side talks about a criticism of the next Chief Justice of India, that is Justice N.V. Ramana, and it talks about how the overall system of internal inquiry is lacking in the Supreme Court and the judiciary in general. So that is allegations not substantiated, but overall talks about the loophole, about how inquiries into affairs of judges and allegations against them, that system is determined by the judiciary itself, which is basically a judge in your own case, and that is what the editorial here talks about. The one on the left hand side, no rights despite reforms. What is this talking about? This is talking about the member states of the Gulf Cooperation Council, 6 members, and says that all these countries are heavily dependent on cheap migrant labor from Asia and primarily Southeast Asia. How has this come to fore? Because in 2022, Qatar hosts the FIFA World Cup, and in that, the construction of all the stadiums and the entire infrastructure around the World Cup is being built by the migrant laborers who have come from Southeast Asia. However, despite that, the rights that these people get in Qatar specifically and the overall Gulf region is still minuscule. And this would have been accepted had this was not completely dependent. However, for example, Qatar and these economies are directly dependent on the cheap labor. If the cheap labor is not available, these economies will collapse, because in the sense, overall the national population only accounts for 15% of the population that lives there. 85% of the population in this country is by the migrants, and they have absolutely no rights, and that is what this entire op-ed talks about. All right. Then the second one, an unconscionable act. All right. So there was one very interesting question that was put up in the comments yesterday, that if a refugee, so who is a refugee? A refugee, as defined in the UN Refugee Convention, is a person who has escaped. That is, those who have a well-founded fear of prosecution and a threat to their life in the country they belong. All right. So, for example, the people who are escaping Myanmar have a real fear of prosecution. The question was, key in the comment section, that is the person, for example, if he's sent back, and can that person be tried in their country? Definitely yes. That is the reason why people escape. That prosecution, or people are prosecuted in the country or by their own government without any reason. For example, Aung San Suu Kyi, allegations have been made and she had been arrested without being given a chance to even contest the claims that were made. All right. So it is those kinds of fears that lead people to escape their countries. All right. So now within this, the international law has a principle of non-refoulement. What does this mean? That in case a person is a refugee and has escaped his home country, all right, and has entered another country, even if you are a member or not of the UN Refugee Convention, one cannot send back a refugee or deport a refugee to the state from where he or she has escaped. That you cannot put another person's life at risk from where they have escaped. That is the principle of non-refoulement that is pointed out in this editorial. Why is this being highlighted? Because one, India has asked the state governments in Northeast to not categorize these people who are escaping Myanmar as refugees, and secondly is deporting Rohingya Muslims of Myanmar from different parts of the countries to Myanmar once again. Why is Indian government doing so? Because it does not categorize them as refugees. All right. So Indian government will make a case that it is not violating the convention or the principle of non-refoulement, because these people are not refugees. But overall, everywhere else, they are considered as refugees. For example, Rohingya Muslims who have taken refuge primarily, mostly in Bangladesh. All right. The government at the UNHRC and UNSC did make a case for democracy in Myanmar when the spokespersons of the government were talking in general. So this is what the case is. What becomes most important is the principle of non-refoulement around the refugee crisis. All right. So that is something that we all need to know. Then moving on to the other national news. So following up from the front page, here are more details about the national awards and the different categories. All right. So make sure you have all these categories listed. The state of Sikkim was awarded the category for best film friendly state, that the state that is most conducive for production, shooting in general for a feature film. All right. Then the Madras High Court gave an order yesterday. All right. That is also of real note. So the order was a case was filed against a person who had cut a cake on which the Indian tricolor was on the icing, and they had distributed that cake in the party. The case was filed against the people for violation of and causing insult to the national flag. The Madras High Court has stated that in India as a democracy, such patriotism cannot be revealed by gross physical acts. That mere physical acts does not lead or quantify or differentiate or test whether you are patriotic or not. All right. And then the judge went on to say a patriot is not one who only raises the flag or symbolizes his national pride, wears it on his sleeve, but is also a person who bats for good governance. Symbolic national pride is not synonymous with patriotism, just like how cutting a cake is not unpatriotic. All right. And Rigveda asks us not to let noble thoughts come from us from every side, which reflects the Indian ethos of tolerance. All right. And then it also talked about how, for example, during different events, people wear pins of the national flag and then they don't use it. They put it somewhere. So does that mean that they are not patriotic? They were patriotic today and become non-patriotic tomorrow. And therefore, such acts are not a violation or an insult to the national flag. All right. So that is something that an order that we need to be aware of. Then there have been reports appearing in international press that the recent GMO's award on LOC upholding the 2003 ceasefire agreement between India and Pakistan was brokered or mediated by the foreign minister of UAE. All right, that UAE foreign minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed had come to New Delhi, and it was he who was the protagonist in the overall agreement that India and Pakistan have agreed. Such a thing would be a violation because India and Pakistan believe this is a bilateral issue and have rejected reports of any country wanting to mediate between the two countries. All right. So the Ministry of External Affairs has not confirmed it anyway, and that is what the scene is right now. However, we need to be abreast. The person who has been highlighted to have brokered the conversation between India and Pakistan is Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed of UAE, who is the foreign minister there. All right, UAE has close connections with India and Pakistan together. The article also highlights other things where India and UAE will be cooperating, which is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's anti-terror structure, that is SCO RATS. We had done an in-depth analysis on this in the month of November itself, all right. And then the 8-member, the joint counter-terror exercise in which India and Pakistan will be doing it together. We had discussed the editorial that talked about this in the previous week already, all right. So moving on to the other news. The FDI bill about insurance has been passed by the Lok Sabha. We had discussed it already. All right. And then from another award which I told you we will be talking about, which is the Gandhi Peace Prize that has been granted to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Sultan Qaboos of Oman. All right. So we'll be doing an in-depth analysis of this. Then apart from that, UP and MP signed agreement on Ken-Betwa interlinking. This is artificial river linking project that has now been agreed by the state of UP and Madhya Pradesh. The threat related to this is that the Panna National Wildlife Sanctuary will get submerged. All right, the region where the interlinking project will happen exists the Panna Wildlife Sanctuary, which houses tigers and other wildlife, which will now get submerged. The region that will benefit from this for irrigation purposes is the Bundelkhand region. All right. So that is what it is about. Then another person in news, that is Sagar Sarhadi, has passed away. He was famous for multiple Yash Chopra movies in which, for example, Kabhi Kabhi, Noori and other prominent films such as Silsila and Chandni. He was the writer behind those. All right. So he sadly passed away yesterday. He was a person who came to India post partition. All right. Then on the international front, US data shows that the AstraZeneca vaccine is effective for all ages. So efficacy data about the AstraZeneca vaccine for different age groups confirms that the vaccine is effective for different people. Indian regulatory body will also take a call about this vaccine later on, about how till now India only is administering vaccines to people above the age of 60 and people with comorbidities from 45 to 59, all right, along with the frontline workers who have not received it yet, all right. Then apart from that, China, Russia look to deepen best ties. This is their bonhomie that has withstood all of that, all right. They have become closer and closer, right. And then apart from that, Twitter CEO has sold off his first tweet for 2.9 million as NFT. On Sunday, we had discussed what the NFT is all about, and Twitter CEO's tweet has also now been sold in the similar platform, all right. So that is the news. Then along with that, hopefully there is light at the end of the tunnel in the worst humanitarian crisis currently on earth, that is the conflict in Yemen. Saudi Arabia, which is fighting the Houthi rebels in Yemen, has offered a ceasefire to the Houthis, and now the response is awaited to end the conflict in Yemen, all right. So we need to wait for this. Then moving on, apart from that, workers in government contract must possess skill certificate. That government will be granting skill certificate to all laborers who participate in any work for a government contract, which will help in them from being informal to formal workers. And apart from that, a new panel has been constituted by RBI, which is headed by Shyamala Gopinath, who was the former deputy governor of RBI. What is this panel for? For creation and notification of new small finance banks, all right. So standing external advisory committee for evaluating applications for universal and small finance banks, all right. This is the news from RBI front. Then on the sporting side, another news for those who wanted to volunteer in Tokyo Olympics. Sad news from them. The Olympic Committee has decided in Japan that it will also not let have foreign volunteers. So volunteers also from Japan, spectators also only from Japan for the Summer Olympics of 2020, that is Tokyo Olympics. Then moving to the Peace Prize. So the Peace Prize, the Gandhi Peace Prize, is been awarded for 2 years, that is 2019 and 2020. The award is granted to those individuals of any nationality, gender, caste, creed for contribution towards social, economic and political transformation through non-violence and other Gandhian methods. The award was constituted in 1995 to mark the 125th anniversary of birth of Mahatma Gandhi. What is granted in the award? It carries 1 crore rupees plus a plaque and a citation, all right, in the award. This 1 crore rupees convertible to any currency, whosoever is the recipient and in whichever currency they want to receive it, all right. The jury, who decides who will be given this award? So the jury constitutes the Prime Minister of India, all right, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, the Chief Justice of India, the Lok Sabha Speaker, and along with all of them who are constitutional positions, the one prominent member of the society, all right. This year's jury's prominent member was Sulabh International's founder, that is Vindheshwar Pathak, all right. So he was the prominent member on the jury, along with the Prime Minister, the leader of opposition, the Chief Justice of India, and the Lok Sabha Speaker, all right. The first award was granted in 1995 to Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, all right. The 2019, which is the 18th award, has been granted to Qaboos bin Said Al Said, all right, who is the from Oman, all right. India and Oman's ties go back all the way to the Indus Valley civilization, all right. The ties of India and Oman are that old, all right. And then of the 19th one, that is for year 2020, has been granted to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who is also known as Banga Bandhu, who is the founder of the independence movement for Bangladesh, the Mukti Bahini, the Sena that fought the Bangladesh Liberation War along with the Indian Armed Forces, the 1971 war. All right, so it was his imprisonment and struggle on Gandhian principles that got Bangladesh liberation from West Pakistan. All right, so Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Qaboos bin Said Al Said of Oman have been granted the Gandhi Peace Prize. All right, so a lot of things to be noted down in today's newspaper. First of them, the Gandhi Peace Prize, then the National Film Awards, then third, the Ken-Betwa Interlinking River Project, then fourth, the Delhi Assembly Act. All right, the constitutional provisions, the Balakrishnan Committee report that relates to it, and along with that, the RBI's new committee that will be determining the new small finance and other licensed banks. All right, so before we conclude for the day, once again a reminder for all the viewers that Law Prep Tutorial is coming up with an online offline mock test series based on the new pattern. All right, on 3 mock tests within this. The first, that is on 26th March, the second on 25th April, and the third on 16th May. This is your chance to confirm your knowledge regarding CLAT based on the new pattern, and all of this is very simple. All you need to do is register yourself on the link provided in the description box. So don't waste your time, confirm this and register yourself for the test series immediately. Thank you so much and see you all tomorrow.